Now, in the past, we have done several videos on the hows and whys of airing down your tires. And airing down is very important for traction sometimes, for comfort, for keeping your tires from getting punctured. There's a lot of good reasons to air down. And for more information on that, check out the video up above. That's all about why you should air down and different tools to use to air down. But today we're not going to talk about airing down. We're going to talk about airing up because once you air down, you do need to air up again when you get done with the trail. When we finish a trail, we're typically running on around 12 to 14 PSI, and you can't get on the highway and do freeway speeds with only 12 to 14 pounds of pressure in your tires. You're going to have a problem. They're going to overheat. You could pop a bead. A lot of things could happen. So you got to put air back in. Well, obviously you need a compressor. That's a good start. And there's a bunch of good compressors out there from different companies. EZ Flate's Moab is, as far as I know, it's one of the best out there. It's very similar to ones from a bunch of other companies. It's a dual cylinder compressor. It works really well, and we use something very similar to that as well. But from there, you got to go from the compressor to the tires. So of course the easy way, maybe not the easy way, the normal way would be to plug into your compressor and go tire to tire, airing up. And of course that works. People have been doing it for decades, probably even longer than that, hundreds of years. You got to air up a tire, you need a hose, you need some piece on the end to connect to the valve stem, and you're good to go. Nothing wrong with this. This is how we did it for years, no problem. However, the second phase of that was going to a four-way tire system, and that's being able to air up all four tires at the same time. Now, there's maybe some pros and cons to that. There's definitely some argument as to whether it's more or less efficient, and honestly, I've never timed it. However, what I can tell you is that the few moments that it takes to walk around, connect all four tires to a hose, start up the compressor, and then let it run until they're all done, that time of airing up allows me to do other things. I can go put away my camera gear. I can, redo my winch line. I can do whatever needs to be done to clean up and get ready to go home. I can be doing that while all four tires are airing up. Now, of course, airing up four tires at the same time is going to take about the same time as going tire to tire, but I don't have to babysit each tire. I don't have to sit there and hold the hose and then wait for it to finish and then check it, and go to the next one and do all that. I set it up, it all starts, it runs, and when I'm done, I put it all away. Very simple. So, for the last couple of years, we have been using the recoil system from EZ Flate. And it's this recoil hose system, and this thing has worked great. Couple little quirks with it that you might want to know are that this coiled hose, when it is really cold out, gets very stiff and a little hard to work with. So, normally it's in the back of the Jeep, so during, the course of a trail, we got the heater on and whatever, and it'll loosen up a little bit, but, the cold is kind of a problem. Now, mine has these old style valve stem connectors on it that worked pretty good, but the new ones that come from EZ Flate are amazing. We'll show those in a little bit, but this old one worked well. The downside to this system is kind of the size. It only folds up so tight because of this coiled hose. Now, recently, I was out doing Devil's Canyon with my friend Josh and Christina, who have the Rubistina. You should follow them on Instagram. And they had the EZ Flate HyperFlex system. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. The connectors are better, the hoses are better, it stores better, really a nice package. So I got a hold of EZ Flate and I got a HyperFlex system. So let's talk about that, because that's really what we're here for, is to know what the difference is between the different ways of airing up and the HyperFlex system. So move this big pile to the side. Still perfectly good product, and this sells for $199.99 from EZ Flate with the new connectors that I'm going to show you in a bit. The HyperFlex system is this guy. So takes up less space than the recoil system, and space in a Jeep is definitely a premium. So we open up the bag here. Oh, the beauty of this thing. So nice. So first off, you see that it is a straight hose instead of a coiled hose. So maybe some advantages one way or the other there. All I know is this takes up a lot of room. This takes up less room. So there are technically 3 pieces to this. We have 2, and there's all kinds of dirt from the last trip. So we have 2 sets of hoses and a manifold. So you're going to start, we can connect this to our compressor, and this collar here moves forward and back. And it says, that way is open, and the other way is closed. That's closed, that's open. So when I connect a hose to it, air's not going to start bleeding out if I don't have the compressor running. So as I'm setting it up, I'm going to make sure it's in the down or closed position, start hooking up the hoses. Now, let me see if I can, we'll open one of these up so we can see the connectors better. And I'll give you some close-ups of these. So the connectors here all have covers on them, which is super nice. And similar to that, you just kind of pull back on them and they release. So you push them right on the tire. Nice secure connection. Have never heard one of these hiss air. These older connectors, they did. You'd sit there and you'd hear that little going, and you'd twist it, turn it, and you're like, okay, now it's solid. These don't do that. I have not had one of these leak air on me yet. You do want to make sure you keep them clean, which is nice that they come with the built-in covers. Keep the dirt, keep the snow out of there, put them on. When you're done and ready to pull them off, just pull back on that collar. They come right off, put the cover back on. So this is going to be the furthest one from the compressor. You have another one that goes to the other tire, and then the connector on the end, standard connector here, and pull back, put it on, release, and you're now connected to the manifold. So very nice. Again, pull it back, it pops right out, and you're good to go. And it has a digital gauge on here. Now, I find the gauges aren't super accurate while you're airing up. You kind of have to turn the system off, or just very quickly pop that down into the closed position. You'll get an accurate reading, pull it back down, and it'll keep airing up. As that pressure is going out, it's not super accurate. So kill that airflow, look at the gauge, open it back up again. Okay, now let's talk about performance here. When we look at the hose from the recoil system and the hose from the HyperFlex, we have a little bit bigger hose on the HyperFlex. And I think this gives us a couple advantages. One, we have better airflow through the whole system, so the tires are getting inflated more efficiently. It's not as restrictive as this one. And then at the end, when we want all 4 tires to be at the same pressure, I find the HyperFlex system does a better job at balancing all 4 tires than the recoil system did. Now, possible explanations could be a larger interior diameter on here, which just makes the flow better. Possibly something, maybe this manifold is a little bit better. than the original one that was on here. Don't know for sure, maybe the same. But either way, this one with the recoil system, the tires would be generally 1.5, at worst 2 PSI off from each other after letting it sit and rest for 30 seconds. They would still be off a little bit. So we kind of got in the habit of watching the TPMS sensor in the Jeep and pulling them off. Like we air up to 35. So someone would be inside going, okay, right front, pull the right front, rear left, pull the rear left. And so as each one got to 35, we would pull them off instead of sitting there trying to get them to balance. The HyperFlex system, as we see that the tires are getting up into that 35, maybe one's at 35, one's at 34, one's at 37. As long as they're in that ballpark, right? They're all within a pound or 2 PSI. Turn off the compressor, shut the manifold off, and now I start doing things like putting the compressor away, shutting the hood, doing all that cleanup. So that's going to take a minute, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I come back to put the hoses away. I check the TPMS sensors, and they're perfect. So we've used it a handful of times to make sure that it just wasn't a fluke. But in my experience and in talking to some other people who have gone from one system to the other, they have all said the same thing, that the HyperFlex system, to them, balanced all 4 tires better. So, nice little bonus there. Now, that's what I got for you. The HyperFlex is a more expensive platform. It's $229.99. Now, if you use our discount code, which is COFB10, you'll get 10% off. So I'll put that down below and in the description so you can find it easily. The people, Dustin and Chelsea over at EZ Flate, fantastic people. They really want to take care of customers, and they've always been a joy to work with. So I highly recommend dealing with the people at EZ Flate. If you need a compressor, look at their Moab compressor. For a 4-way system, I say for the $30 more, it's worth it to get the HyperFlex system. It's easier to work with, it's easier to put away, it's easier to store, it takes up less room, and to me, it does a better job. So that's my take on the EZ Flate HyperFlex. I hope this video was beneficial to you and kind of gave you some options on different ways of airing up and what our favorite way is today to air up now. Thanks for watching, everybody. From Katarina and myself, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.